What's going on, guys? Stefan here at S&E's Garage. Today we have a 2016 Hyundai Sonata in with a check engine light on. There is no change in the vehicle's performance, it's just a check engine light. So I'm just going to kind of take you through my process of diagnosing this car. See if it's one of our common problems or not. Now this is all going to depend on what kind of a scanner you have. I'm using the Hyundai scan tool, but if you have a snap-on or something similar to that, the process should be pretty similar. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in our dongle, and I'm going to let this vehicle populate into my scanner. I'm going to let it auto-VIN, and we're going to scan the codes, and I'm kind of just going to take you on my process to diagnosing a check engine light. So that noise tells me that the VCI has connected. So we're going to auto-VIN this car. There it is, pulls it right up. We're going to go to fault code searching. We're going to search all of our modules, just because you never know what codes are hiding where. That might point you in a direction to, find out what your fault is. So let's just let this thing scan. We'll see what it comes up with. Oh, that was easy. So we have an intake runner performance code, P200A. That's actually a relatively common problem on these. The VCM motor gets gummed up inside and doesn't work as it should. So that's going to be a pretty easy one to diagnose if that's my only code. We're going to take you outside of the car, and we're going to actuation test it, see if it moves. And even if it does move and it sounds kind of sticky, squeaky, junky, we're going to end up replacing that. This vehicle is under warranty, so let's see what other codes we get, if any, and take it from there. Alright, so that P200A was our only active code. So we're going to go to the DTC, and I'm just going to kind of show you guys what will cause this code to set. It's a good idea to understand why the code sets before you go ahead and diagnose it. Like I said, this is a common issue on these cars, so I already know what the problem is. But let's see what kind of stuff we have on the tablet. Yes, so there's our VCM motor there, circling green. It's called variable charge motion, and basically what that does is changes the position of the runners in the intake manifold to create a swirl to kind of help atomize the fuel a little bit better. But it says right here to disassemble the variable charge motion actuator and intake manifold and check stuck bicarbon or foreign object. So 10 times out of 10 when I pull these off, the flaps in the runner are perfectly fine. It's the motor itself that is either stripped, the teeth strip, or it's just rusted inside and doesn't really move anymore. We live in the Rust Belt here in New Jersey, so corrosion and salt air is a huge problem. So let's go ahead and get out of the car. I'm going to turn the car off. We're going to go to actuation test on my scanner, which again, if you have a nice scanner, should have the same thing. And we're going to actuate that VCM motor and see how it sounds and if it's moving. So let's go ahead and get out of the car and get started. Alright guys, so we're under the hood of our Sonata, and we're going to actuation test that VCM motor like I had mentioned, and we're just going to listen to it and look for it moving. So you can hear it, it's moving, but it's squeaky. Get the flashlight, look down at the runner. You're not going to be able to see it moving. I can see it moving, but I don't like the way it sounds. So we're going to go ahead and disassemble it further and see what we got. And if everything in the intake's moving freely, we're going to just go ahead and replace that VCM motor right here. So let's get started. So to get to our VCM motor, we're going to go ahead and remove the snorkel. We're going to remove the air tube, and we're going to remove the upper engine cover. And we're going to have to disconnect some vacuum lines and move them out of the way. So let's go ahead and get that started. Alright, so we got access to our VCM motor. We loosened our two 10mm on the air cleaner snorkel, and we removed the vacuum lines over here. I just left the purge valve connected to the vacuum line there. So now we can see we have three 10mm bolts here, 1, 2, and 3. And then there's a little metal clip right here that I have to remove. Do not lose that. It is super important. So let's go ahead and get it out, and then we're going to make sure, you know, everything in the manifold moves the way it should. And as long as that happens, this bad boy's getting replaced. Alright, so we got our VCM unbolted, and I can go ahead and move the VCM back and forth, and you can see the flap in the manifold is moving freely. So everything in the manifold is okay. The runners are not stuck. So we're going to go ahead and replace this bad boy. This thing's going to come off with the whole arm on it, so let me get it out, and then I'll show you exactly what you have to do, because we're going to have to transfer the old arm onto the new VCM motor. So we got our old VCM here, like I said, with the arm still on it. Here's our new one. No arm on it. There's a little metal clip right there that you have to remove from the old one to separate the arm. So go ahead and remove that and do not lose it. So let's go ahead and get that off. There's that little booger. Make sure you don't lose it. We can separate the arm now. So we got the new VCM. We lubed it up. We put our arm on it. It moves nice and freely. We got our Jesus clip in there. So let's go ahead. We got to slide this back into the intake manifold, lock it into place, put that little metal clip over there back on, and bolt it all up. And then we're going to actuation test it. I want to show you how it's supposed to sound versus how it did before. So let's go ahead and get that started. So we got our new VCM in. Let's actuation test a new one. See how it sounds. See, it's not squeaking. It's not making any weird noises. It's just actuating, which is exactly what we want. So the car is now repaired. We're going to go ahead and stop that, and we're going to go into software management, and we're going to reset the adaptive values. These cars learn things. The computer learns as the car ages, values change. So we basically want to reset that because we've installed a new part. Once this pops up, I will actually show you that it does mention the variable swirl actuator as a part that would require resetting the adaptive values. Variable swirl actuator right there. So we're going to go ahead and reset the adaptive values. There's my phone going off. We're going to reset. We're going to reset. Alright, this car is now ready to roll. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Like, share, and subscribe.